All right, y'all. This is going to be attempt number 2. Had my dog interrupted the previous beginning of the recording. So we're just going to go ahead and start all the way over. Today is March 13th. It is Thursday. Obviously, we have had some consolidation happening here since Bitcoin has plummeted 30% from its all-time high. Its all-time high was sitting at 109,588, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 109,588 to as low of about 76,606. And since then, you can see here that we had just been really in a range. Sideways price action has not broken down, and we're literally just ranging now between 94,000, 76,000-ish level. So, for anybody having kind of trouble trying to identify where are good places to take trades, whether we should be looking for sells or for buys. We're just going to go ahead and break this down really quickly. We'll go ahead and look at the majors. So we'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll also go ahead and take a look at Solana and XRP as well. And then we may get into some altcoin breakdowns. But I feel like, at this point, really everything is relying upon Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Their alts don't move without Ethereum moving. Ethereum doesn't move without Bitcoin moving. So has been shown through history, right? So just to make this very, very simple, really clear cut, really just straight to the chase, let's go ahead and start breaking down some higher time frame levels. So we'll start on the daily here. I feel like the daily is really painting a really clear and nice picture for Bitcoin at this point. You can see here that we broke down, right? We had the test down at 77,000, 78,258 was the low here. Then we got the strategic reserve news that pumped Bitcoin all the way back to 95,000. And since then, we have taken back all of that and are now currently just sitting here in this range between we'll go with the candle body closes at about 78,550, ranging between 78,550 and technically about 94,585, right? So we'll just go ahead and mark these levels out. So, boom. And you can go to the wicks if you prefer. I prefer to deal with the candle closes. Because the candle body closes are where the most amount of volume is, right? So price was able to spike down, but it had the most volume at support here at about 78,500, 78,480, around that area, right? Pushed back up, retested this high here, took the liquidity at this point, and now we are just kind of settling back underneath. So what am I looking for here? Line. So, as you can see, we basically just did an underside retest, bearish retest here, and we've closed back within the range. And so now, I know people are like, well, what do you do? This looks bearish. It's not bearish, in my opinion, until we break below, and we close below 78,500. Breaking a close below, then we could start looking towards lower price levels, maybe to come get this chunk of built up liquidity over here. But for the time being, we got to go with what is in front of us, right? So on the daily, we got resistance at about 84. I would say it's at about the 84,500 area, 84,450 was where the real resistance was. We see we kind of spiked up above it, and then failed the breakout. So on X, if you are following me on X, if you're not, I would highly recommend you go follow me at Mr.MoBetta Crypto. I just do little chart breakdowns throughout the week, throughout the days, just to kind of give people a little bit of an idea of what I'm looking at as far as taking trades are concerned. But that's neither here nor there. So on the daily, we're in this range here. You're looking at about a 7% range between 78,500 and 84,000. right? So if we go down, break that down on the 4 hour now, right? Go ahead and delete this. On the 4 hour, price is lining up pretty good. I don't like here that we have created a flat candle bottom. That can either mean one of two things. So in a bullish environment, a flat candle bottom, right? A flat candle bottom on a bullish candle means that there was no range for price to continue pushing down, which can mean that there is a lot of bullish volume in this area. So we don't really want to see 80,200 broken. If we see 80,200 broken, then we're likely to test back down towards 78,500 area. If we can maintain this level here, we're breaking above the previous 4 hour bearish high, which is a good thing. So we're creating support. If on the 4 hour, if we go down onto the 1 hour, I'm sure there's even more clearly defined support. We'll go ahead and break that down. Okay. So looks like we're finding some sort of support here. Let me make this actually, I'll go make this white and I'll make the lines yellow. Lines are yellow, easier to see. So go ahead and let me double this, make it a little bit easier for y'all to see. Okay, right? So what I do love right now, we are respecting the candle lows and we are not respecting candle highs. That in itself is bullish, right? So now it is Thursday and it is coming into the daily close. So what I would expect to see is either on the next daily candle, we're going to push down and make a low, right? That is pretty typical. So we don't want to see a low that comes and breaks below here, right? That would obviously be really ugly. But we can anticipate that we are going to form a low of some sort. Whether that comes back down and scoops it up was yet to be seen. But we see that we have some minor resistance here around the 82,000 area, right? On the 1 hour. Some minor support here, or some minor resistance. So if you are looking to take a trade, what we do have is a clean run of candles, right? We got a clean run. There's no resistance up until about the 82,000 area. So if we can close this candle out bullish, what I would like to see is either we get price to form a resistance here. So we get a, like a white candle or a bearish candle, I'll just say. So either we get a bearish candle that looks something like this, and then we get a bullish candle that respects this candle's low and continues breaking out to the upside. And if we break above the candle high, that would be a trigger to take a trade up towards the 82,100 area, right? That would trigger along up to the 82,100 area. If not, if you feel like it's too risky to take a trade at this point, which for me personally, I'm probably not going to be taking any trades until Monday, Tuesday of next week. So I'm just simply observing right now, but just to give y'all an idea of what to be looking for. The other thing that you could look for is if we come up into resistance and we're able to say, break up, but we close back below and then retest the underside and form resistance and break that candle's low, then that would trigger a trade back down towards 80,000. Right? Otherwise, again, and this is just if you're not looking to take a trade in this exact moment, because obviously the most optimal time would have been down around 80,000. We moved over $1,000 away from that point currently. The other thing that you could do to wait for a bullish trigger is for price to come up into resistance. Maybe we reject it at first, and then we would look for a break back above, a retest, and then a continuation higher to maybe take out these highs. Let me scale out a little bit, to maybe take out these highs up here around 84,500, the 84,500 area, right? That would also set up higher time frame confluence for prices to move higher. If we were able to close above the 84,400, 84,500 area, I would say probably more around 84,400 would be safer for me. Then you could look to take a trade up towards 86,800 to 87,000. On the higher time frame, that would be confluence with breakdown area, would sweep all of this liquidity up here. And given that most people that I know of, at least at this point, are anticipating a breakdown below and to retest the $75,000 area, I understand that most people are currently set up for that, and markets are not going to give what most people want. So even if we do get down there, even if we get to the 75,000 area, I still think that we have some stop hunting to do in the meantime, right? So something you could look for would be, again, a push up here. Maybe we get up here, spike this. We do have some short-term resistance here. Not really anything important in my opinion, because it just completely obliterated through that. So maybe we range here and we find price acceptance above. And if we can find price acceptance above 84,000 and then break 85,000, we have a good run up to the 87,000 area. If not, if we get up here and we reject and then we accept price back below 84,000, we just play the range, right? So then we would have towards 82,000 and maybe even down towards 80,000 to look for. Until then, you do nothing, right? You just wait. The hardest part of this market is just waiting. Now, I will say that volatility over the last week has been wonderful. If you understand how ranges work, if you understand price action from a very technical perspective, just simply looking at candles being created, you don't really need the RSIs or the MACDs or moving averages or any of that stuff. I'm not saying that they're not helpful and they can't give you confluence, because they can, but pure price action is really painting a very clear picture right now, right? And at this point, we are making equal highs and we're making really higher lows, right? Higher low, or here's a lower low, lower low, higher low here, equal high. We got a higher low, push to a higher high, and now we're forming another higher low, right? Do you see how it's higher than this, higher than this, and higher than this? So if we can get price to accept above 84,000, that is a good trigger to go long. Whether that's in the short term, whether that is for a longer duration, we don't know. In my opinion, scalping this market has been bread and butter. Right, scalping this market has been bread and butter. It's allowed for a lot of good moves. You don't have to be in the market for hours and hours at a time. You can literally be in and out within an hour, within 30 minutes even, and you can make a really good profit, right? So again, on Bitcoin, we are kind of flattening out right now. We're accepting price above 80K. Now we have to see if price is going to accept above 80K and push higher, or if we're just going to continue to range, right? But those are the triggers that I would be looking for. Again, if we can finish this candle out bullish, and then we can get a strong bullish candle to continue breaking up, we could test the upside. Otherwise, you wait for a retest of this area and either a breakdown and a rejection or acceptance above 84,000 and look for longs. Until then, do nothing. If you're not comfortable taking the trade now, we are forming support on an area of support, on a strong area of support. Obviously, this was previously a level that broke down and was reclaimed and has now been retested once, twice, 3 times. I guess you could call it like 2.5 times. But typically, that could be a trigger to continue pushing higher. Okay, so on Bitcoin, that's what we'd be looking for. Acceptance above 84,000 is ideal. Then we could at least get I think a good run towards 87,000, maybe even test up towards 91K. But obviously we have a lot of traffic running into over here, right? We've got a lot of resistance formed. We'd have a lot of traffic to get through, so it could take some time. But in the short term, the range is towards 84K and 80K, right? We got a $4,000 range. That is no small range. That is really good, very, very tradable. And with a clean run of bearish candles here, if we can continue pushing up, we should be able to take this entire set of bearish candles higher. Excuse my nose, it's itching. Allergies are going crazy right now. It's making my nose itch like crazy. All right, so that's on Bitcoin, right? Go ahead and just delete this here. So let's go take a look at ETH now. Oh, ETH. ETH needs to rechange its name to AIDS. This is absolutely deplorable. So let's go ahead. Actually, let me delete this real quick. Start on a daily time frame. If y'all ever have trouble identifying support and resistance, the easiest thing you can do, and probably the most effective thing you can do, is just delete everything, restart, go from a top down, and map it out from there, right? I love doing that. So ETH, we have obviously seen a massive 50% correction, in which I'll be the first to admit I did not, and I don't think really many people would have anticipated. There were some out there. There were some accounts out there that definitely called ETH below 2K, which you got to give them the credit for. I personally was not in that camp. I didn't think that ETH would cut 50% of its PA. But alas, we have cut 56% of ETH's price, 57%, almost 60% down on ETH in a month, basically, since February. This is really since December. Since the high in December at 4107, it's been straight down, which is just nuts, right? And if you've been in this arena long enough, you understand that altcoins go as ETH goes as Bitcoin goes, and such is the circle, right? Right now, we're just circle jerking. Obviously, we've been in a straight line down. It doesn't really take a trend line for you to see that, but I'll draw it for y'all just in case you can't see. We've had equal highs, then we had a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and now we're kind of starting to base out, right? So this could take some time. Definitely could take some time. But I do believe that ETH is so oversold right now that I would find it hard to believe we don't get some sort of relief bounce within the next 2 weeks, right? But, we're not going to do too much speculating. Again, we're just going to trade what is in front of us. What I do like seeing is that obviously we had some large candle expansions to the downside, large candle expansion, and now we're getting tiny candles, and we're not breaking below ETH's low at 1754, right? We have respected that low at this point, and we've come and tested it twice already, tested the area, but so far we're respecting it. So let's go here. Technically speaking, if ETH can get above 1965, we obviously have clean run of candles up towards 2213. That would be your first area of resistance. I would say that the more likely target, until proven wrong, I would say the more likely target is around 2500. I would just be surprised if we didn't get some kind of move, just because of how suppressed ETH has been. However, you can't ignore the fact that there is a lot of There's obviously resistance here around 2250, right? Tried to break above, couldn't. Broke back below, retested 2250, and then broke down, right? So I'm gonna go down to the 4-hour time frame. This is on the daily, remember? So on the 4-hour, it's getting a little bit more clear, right? Hopefully it's getting a little bit more clear for y'all. We can kind of see even, here's a deviation above 2250 to 2300 area. Tried to push it, couldn't hold it, broke back below, retested underneath, and then broke down. Right? So now what are we looking to see? Okay, well, ETH has now started to form a pretty good support here in this 1840 area, right? Right now, we are literally just going sideways. Hopefully y'all can see that. I need to favorite this actually. Hopefully y'all can see that. We're just trading sideways. Now, obviously we're creating lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and equal lows. So that really kind of gives you the impression that pressure is to the downside and that we may break. But until that happens, we're going to assume that a bullish candle being created on support is going to be a trigger long, right? So if we can close this 4-hour on support here and get another bullish candle to finish to break above this high, we can at least push, towards 1920 for a small scalp. Usually I like to see a little bit more space being created. So even if we were to just kind of like die out here over the weekend and maybe we get a doji that will come and sweep this liquidity, and then we'll kind of close up here, and then we can get, Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Sunday, because we know how Trump loves to pump price on illiquid Sundays. Then we could look for a trigger to go long towards 1965. And if we can accept price above 1965, we obviously have a really clean range towards 22. Am I dumb? I might be. Okay. Golly. Anyway. So we have this key resistance here at 1965. If we're able to break above that and hold it, we have a clean run towards the 2150 area, right? Hopefully y'all see that, right? So, excuse me. Again, excuse my nose, man. It's crazy. But this is a massive range to trade within. This is an 8 to 9% range. And again, clean candles, no resistance for longs up here. So those are those would be two things that I'm looking for on ETH, right? Either we're going to, let me clear these out right here. Either we're going to kind of settle in this area. I don't think breaking down is going to happen immediately, just because it looks so obvious to break down that I think that, a lot of people are going to position themselves short after we've already moved down 58%, 57%. Getting short at these levels is just the risk is just not there for me. Getting short at these levels is just not there for me. So either I will see what I want to see with a strong candle being printed here that can close. If we can get a strong candle to close, say we get something like this, right? And then tomorrow, maybe we get it tomorrow, maybe we get it at the end of the day today, who knows? But until either we get price again to push up and retest and accept above here, then we can look to go long. Otherwise, we play the range. If price gets up here and starts to reject, so if price pushes up here and then accepts back below and starts to reject, then you can take the low, you can take the short back down towards the 1800 area, right? It is a range until it isn't. That's the number one thing that you've got to understand. We are in a range until we are not. And play the range accordingly. If you understand how candles work, then you know what we don't want to see for this, for our bias to continue higher to be confirmed, is we don't want to see price break back below 1840 and close below it. Otherwise, that is not bearish momentum, or that's not bullish momentum, right? Then we're just chopping still. We're still in the chopping block. And who knows how long this could last. We could literally do this and range here and tap and come back down. We could do this forever. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as you understand that we're in a range, you know how to trade the range, right? So that's what I'm looking for on ETH. Long story short, we're either going to close up higher. We're going to close strongly above 1960. And then we can look for price to accept and continue pushing up. Or we're going to close and we're going to swing fail this area and we'll form resistance on lower time frame. And then we can take it back towards 1840 on a short. Right? Oh my God. Sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I might have to cut this out. Yo, my nose is literally itching like crazy. But yeah, in my opinion, longs are being favored right now. It'd be in your best interest to go long, especially because we've already tested once, twice. I mean, look at this. We got one push lower, 2 pushes, 3 pushes, 4 pushes, 5, 6, 7, and we're rejecting strongly. To me, that is a recipe in the short term, at least, to go higher. Maybe we don't fill this entire range, right? Maybe we only get to here or something, and then we start to deviate and, push lower. That's very possible too. But for right now, you just go with what the charts are giving you. Until I get what I want to see, or until I see what I want out of a long, I'm not doing anything. Again, I would like for more space to be created on this area in order to trigger a long from here. And that is why, personally, I'm staying out until we either get a confirmation close higher above or until we fail this area. Those are the safest plays, in my opinion, unless we were to get a doji or something that would come sweep this and continue to consolidate this area, and then we could break higher sometime next week. Right? All right. I hope that's very clear. I hope that is very clear. Again, in this range, you have 6% to kind of play with, to scalp. Until we break out of this range, that's what we're doing. And if we are to get a breakout higher, there's an 8 to 9% range to play with. You don't have to get the entire move. You just have to get a good chunk. If you can just get a good chunk, you can make a lot of money, right? Everyone, I feel like, especially for new traders' biggest problem is that they see big accounts and traders who are extremely experienced and have been in the game for 8 to 10 years and who have higher capital allocation and have stronger conviction and more solid strategies. They come in and they see these traders like SZ or like Trader XO or Trader Main or any of these guys, right? Or Ansem or any of them, right? If you're on crypto Twitter, you probably understand it. You know who those guys are. You see them going in with size and they're catching these moves. Y'all gotta understand that they've been in the game for a long time. They understand what they're seeing. They have a trading plan. They have capital to trade, and they're not having to full port a $1,000 portfolio, right, to try and make $2 to $3 grand, right? They don't have to do that. And if you don't have to do that, you're a lot more likely to be conservative and wait for you to get what you're looking for out of the charts, right? So that's what we do. We just sit and we wait. The hardest part about trading, period, is sitting and waiting. you can't sit and wait, you won't be successful, period. Right? By the same token, I know I was only talking about going long here. By the same token, if price continues to die out and ETH continues to be the AIDS coin that it is, we break below here, and if we find acceptance below, then we probably break lower. Right? At least to fill this wick, maybe to come down lower. I don't know how much lower we would be able to go at that point. Probably to zero. Probably to zero. Until that happens, again, you just sit on your hands and you wait. You wait to see what you want. So that's my that is my play for ETH. At this point, this right here is a no trade zone, because I know you just said, you said, what? Well, didn't you just say that this was a 5% zone to trade? Yes, it is, if we can get what we're looking for. If we cannot, it is a no trade zone until then. If we can get the candle patterns that we're looking for, then it becomes a tradable zone. A tradable range, I should say. Till then, it is not. All right, so that's ETH. I don't even want to look at ETH BTC's chart because it's disgusting. It's going to make my skin crawl. All right, there's ETH. Anyway, Solana. Ooh, man. Solana has been roughing it, but again, just like ETH, just like Bitcoin, honestly, just like a lot of these coins, the only real major that is holding up extremely well is XRP, and people hate it. I will say that people hate that shit. Sorry, I'm double fisting coffee and water. I gotta make sure I get my water and my caffeine. You feel me? Okay, so we'll go ahead and delete this on Sol. Start again from the daily. I always like to start from the daily because the higher time frame is the most important. Weekly, in my opinion, is going to the weekly is for long-term investing, swing trading, and that's just not my forte. I prefer to scalp. I prefer to look for quick in and out entries, so that's how I break it down. So I'll start with the daily, but I don't really go higher than that unless I'm looking to just allocate capital into investments that I'm looking to hold for long periods of time, right? So again, here, same thing. It's crazy that this actually happened exactly as I was. A couple of me and my homies in the group chat in the Discord were talking about. One of my homies was asking, why wouldn't I want to see price break back below $235? This is way back when ETH was pushing 270. I told him, we don't want to see ETH break below this area around 240, because then what that means is we've swept highs, we've failed, and we couldn't push higher. So more than likely we're coming back down towards 170. And if we lose 170, then likely towards 140. I didn't think that we were going to come all the way down towards 110, but it is what it is. I wish I could have actually capitalized on the trade idea and not been such a pussy. You know what I'm saying? I was even though the price action was confirming my thoughts, I was afraid of jumping the gun too early to short and getting stopped out, which, losses happen. They are what they are. But that doesn't take away from the fact that as a trader, your main objective is to preserve capital, not to, let yourself get blown out. So I just hadn't been in anything. And literally, I hadn't been in any shorts until we got towards this area, towards 194 area. I literally was out of this entire thing. I didn't move. I didn't take any trades here until we broke down here. And I literally closed at the bottom of this candle. And since then, I haven't really been in anything either. Again, because I'm not really getting what I want to see out of Sol. I've been mostly focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum as my intraday trading. But I know a lot of people like to trade altcoins. They like to trade, especially the majors, Solana, XRP, ADA. So we'll go ahead and break them down. All right. Now I've been talking for long enough. Let's just actually get into the breakdown. So We can see here, again, just like everything else, we're kind of bottoming out. I wouldn't say bottoming out, but we're stalling. We're stalling on the push down. We had price form support at $132, $133. Moved away on the Trump pump, retook all of that. Consolidated with small candles at the bottom of the range, broke through, and we really didn't push too far, right? We didn't really push down that far. So now we are simply getting a bearish retest of this area. As you can see here, push down, retested it, failed to break higher, and now consolidating. We're just consolidating in this area. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit smaller because I already know on a lower time frame it's not going to be pretty. So what are we looking for here? I mean, same thing. On the daily, we're looking for a strong candle to close above $132. Otherwise, we're in this range. A very tight range between $115 and $132. So we'll go down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, you can see we created a doji on support on an area. Well, I guess it wasn't really an area of support. Probably if we go way back over here, it was some sort of support. Yeah, I mean, it's very deep support. Came and took all the liquidity, all of this liquidity, and formed support at the $116 area, $117 area. And we failed to break lower. We also have not broken higher. So right now we're just in the middle. One thing that you 100% don't want to do as a trader, if you don't want to get wrecked, is trade in the middle of the range, right? You either need to trade the lower bound, you need to trade the upper bound, or you need to trade the breakouts. Either way. Here, this is your classic. This is a no trade zone. We do not trade this zone at all. Why? Because look at how choppy it is. It's not breaking either way. You don't know what way price is trying to go. And if you think that you do, you're wrong. I'm telling you you're wrong because price is confirming that you're wrong, right? You don't go with your brain. You go with what your eyes are telling you, right? Fuck how you feel, trade the chart. What is the chart telling you? The chart is telling you we're stalling in the middle of nowhere. So what do we want to see then? Very simple. We either want to see price break to this area and hold it as support, and then we can take along that will go higher and maybe test this area at $132 again, or we simply wait for a strong candle close above here, price to accept, and then we can get long here up towards this $140 area, right? You see that's obviously resistance, and maybe we get up here and we push above and fail and retest, and we can come back lower. Then you can take that trade, right? It's very, very, very simple if you let it be. Very, very simple if you let it be. Trading is not difficult. The difficult thing is convincing yourself that you know what's going to happen before it happens. You're not going to know what happens before it happens. You can only operate in probabilities. And the best probability that you have is to either wait for price to confirm acceptance above $132 or price to reject, and then you take it lower, right? Who knows if the rejection comes here? Who knows if it comes here? Who knows if it comes here? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many possibilities, but you just have to be prepared. You have to know what you want to see. So for me, again, I either want to see price accept above here, not be able to break back down, and then we can take a trade higher with a clean candle run, right? These clean bearish candles over here. Golly, it's making me look ridiculous, bro. My nose will not stop itching. It's only in this part of my office too. I don't understand. Like, I got a couple of trees and bushes out there, but I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the pollen. I don't know if it's like the wasp and shit. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's pissing me off. Anyway, we have a 6.5% range that we can trade here. 7% range that you can trade on Solana if we should show acceptance above $130. Otherwise, we have a 10% range that we can trade if we can reject $130 and move back towards 116. Okay? Until then, you do nothing. You do nothing. With the capital N, nothing. You just don't do anything. Close your charts, set your alarms, do whatever the hell you gotta do. Stay the fuck off the chart. Stay out of your perp account. Stay out of your leverage account. Whatever the hell you're thinking about, stay out of it. Because there's nothing to do right now. Okay? Okay, now we got that out of the way. So that's what I'd be looking for on Solana in the short term. If we can break above and sustain price above here, accept price above, we can take a trade up towards 140, maybe even towards the $151 area. As you can see, we got a clean run above 140 if we can get acceptance above here. And we got a clean run towards $150, $151, right? Hopefully y'all can see that. Okay. If not, if we're just to continue breaking down, say we get down to this level and we get a mediocre bounce and we break down here and we can't get a recovery, then you would look to trade it short. Okay. All right. So, okay. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and look at XRP. XRP has been holding this support really nicely, actually. Really nicely. Obviously, there's some liquidity to be taken around this area. Some long wicks. Those are rejection wicks. So whether they're going to come and be retested or not, we don't know. But let me go ahead and clear all of this again, just so we can start from a top-down basis. Go to the daily. Obviously, we see here, price has just been moving sideways. We had the push up, in January into the inauguration. We had the push up testing all-time highs. I don't think we broke all-time highs, but we retested it. Maybe broke it on a couple of exchanges, but at the very least, we retested all-time highs, and since then have just broken down with the rest of the market, obviously, because nothing is immune to market sentiment. Nothing. Not Bitcoin, not Russell, not the Nas, nothing. Right? All of this is respecting price action, in my opinion. So at this point, we've got a range here at around $2. The top of the range is about $3.30. Some massive range. What we definitely don't want to see, if you are an XRP holder, which I personally am an XRP holder, so I'm monitoring this chart pretty closely. What we don't want to see is a break below here and price to accept lower, because then we're coming down into the $1.40 area. There's a clean range of candles lower, and who knows whether we stop at $1.50 or at $1. Who knows? I'm in the camp that hopefully we hold $2, the $2 area. We don't want to see it close below here. If we wick below here, fine, as long as we close back above $2. But we do not want to see it close below $2. That would have me really just, again, it would have me thinking that the bar pattern that is showing up here would be, it would be too strong to ignore if we were to get it close below. Right? Too strong to ignore. Otherwise, what I'd want to see is, again, just like anything else, we come down here, maybe we retest it, maybe we wick and accept back in, and then we could take a trade to the long side. Again, this is on a daily, so that could take some time. But even from the daily, very clear in my opinion. It's very clear what we're looking for. So again, right now we have support being formed at $2. There's a clear resistance here at 260. Let me go ahead and make that white. There's a clear resistance at $2.60. Just like everything else, we had the Trump pump that got eviscerated because Trump is a fucking liar. Anyway. On the 4 hour, it's a little muddy, right? On the 4 hour, this is really muddy. And I just personally don't feel like there's anything to trade here. So I just wouldn't look to trade anything. The only thing I would be looking to trade is if we got up to 260 and we started to reject, then we could take it back down towards this area where we've created some support around the 220 area. Otherwise, I would look for more clear price action to develop over here to get us to be able to go long, right? So on the 4 hour, you can see there's no real clear, clear-cut defined area of resistance. We've rejected so far this $2.35 area, which is an area of resistance if we're looking at it. Technically speaking, we got up towards this area, which is XRP is the only one that has really gotten up this high, I believe. Even if just looking at everything else, like it's Bitcoin kind of tested up a little bit higher, but XRP has been really strong in this area, so it gives me gives me some confidence. But I just don't want to be too overconfident. Again, trading what the chart is telling you. At this point, what the chart is telling you is we've got an exhaustion candle on the 4 hour. Right, we got a large wick, small body, and then we confirmed down with this is not technically a shooting star pattern because of where the candle finished. If the candle had finished a little bit lower, literally even down towards $2.22 with a really strong body, it would give me more confidence that we're coming lower. If we are to break this low at 221, let's see if we can drop down to the 1 hour. If we were to, it's still just muddy to me. Even this, I just don't like it. I just don't like to even, like the look of it doesn't look good. It's obviously got a ton of chopping around here, so it could easily, break down here, come back, break down, come back, break down. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no clear path for price to come down like there was even right here, right? You see there's clear path above 226. Godly, that was terrible. There's a clear path to long above 226. And it went, took out all of these clear candles all the way up to 233, 234, and then rejected. So now, the only clear candle structure that we have is really higher, right? If we can accept price above 227, we could possibly push back up towards these highs, maybe just towards this wick, who knows? Otherwise, you just sit on your hands and you do nothing. Otherwise, you just sit on your hands, you do nothing until you get maybe a sweep here and a reclaim. If we can break that high, that would be a trigger to go long towards this area. See if we can get some acceptance higher. Otherwise, I just wouldn't do anything. I'm not looking to short. Again, I'm not looking to short these because, for one, XRP has showed relative strength against Bitcoin and the rest of the market. But more so, there's just no, for me at least, this is not for everybody, but for me, there's no clear-cut opportunity to short without resistance, right? And I'm looking for the least resistance possible. I don't want to have any resistance on my trade when I take it. I want my trade to go in my favor immediately with little to no issue. If it doesn't, either I don't take it or I'll cut it. Or I'll cut half. Or I'll cut 75%, right? Whatever the case may be, you have to make sure that you're preserving capital, period. You don't have to be right. You're not going to be right all the time. But you have to make more money than you lose. And that's the whole point. And the only way you can do that is by properly identifying what you're looking for, what you want to see, and then executing if you get what you want to see on the chart. So for me, personally, I'm staying out of altcoin trading altogether. I will only be trading Bitcoin and Ethereum because these are the two clear-cut, liquid, volatile assets that, in my opinion, give really clear price action signals. So yeah, so we'll go again, not doing anything yet. If we can get price acceptance above 227, we might be able to push back up towards 235 area. If we start to reject, 237, we could take it back towards the 220 area. This is a good 4% range. For me, this range right here, obviously not worth it. This is a 2% range that is very choppy. And then even further below that, it's just not worth it. Still, in my opinion, not worth it. Okay. So, yeah, man, I don't want to take up too much more of y'all's time. I know I spent a lot of time on that. Hopefully the plan of action is very clear. Again, the most important thing you can do in moments like this where it's very muddy and price is just not, for one, not really moving anywhere, but for two, not giving you any clear signals, then what are you trading for? If you don't got a clear signal, what are you trading for, right? You need a clear signal. Price not giving me clear signals now, and until it does, I'm out of the market until I get a clear signal. So we'll be more than likely leaving it alone tomorrow. It's Friday, so it's the end of the week. If anything, we'll probably get like a scam pump and then dump over the weekend. That's what I would anticipate. Get a scam pump to test this underside again and maybe lower. And barring some sort of, really, really good headline-driven news from Trump being released, I'll just be out for the most part. Not even for the most part. I'm just going to be out. Right? So, yeah. All right, man. That's going to do it for me. I was going to look at some altcoins, but again, I just don't think it's really worth looking at altcoins until we get some action moving in majors. Right? Like, you can even see, even here, this is just so, having this as a range, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Right? So the range for me is here. The range for me is here. And until we either get above here or reject here and come lower, I'm not doing anything on XRP. All right. That is going to do it for me. Again, this is just purely price action trading. And the reason that I love PA and I love hard PA is because if you just look at the chart and you eliminate what you think is going to happen and you just trade what the chart is giving you, you're going to be much more successful. In my opinion, if you have a bunch of indicators like the RSI, MACD, NPOC, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different things, while they can add confluence if you know what you're looking at, 9 out of 10 times for the average trader or for the beginner trader, all it does is add noise and muffle your ability to execute on a trade that is being presented. With just price action, just look at what the chart is offering. You have a lot higher chance of getting what you want if you understand how to read candles, right? So I would implore everybody, if you don't know what the importance of candles are, if you don't know the importance of candle bodies, if you don't know the importance of candle wicks, if you don't understand support and resistance, to an extremely high degree, then don't even be in a trade, period. You need to master those things first before you come look at a chart. And it'll make your charting way easier once you understand support and resistance, even dynamic support and resistance, right? Because they're constantly moving, price is constantly developing and giving us new areas of supply and demand, support and resistance, whatever you want to call it, right? So hone in, focus on that, focus on reading the chart first. And once you have mastered that, or at least once you have a good idea of what you want to see on a chart, then you can start executing trades. Until then, just observe. It's not going to do you any harm to just observe. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to do you a lot better to just observe than it is to just hop into a trade or hop into analysis without understanding what it is you're looking for or what you're looking at, right? So yeah, that's my spiel. Bitcoin has been extremely volatile, and extremely profitable for price action and for scalping traders, for scalpers, I should say. Swing traders have been eating shit, in my opinion. It's been tough. It's been tough for swing traders because price just is not really going anywhere, and it's, you know, pushing areas and then settling back down into areas of demand. So, all right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. If there's any other coins, if there's any other things, anything else you want me to discuss or look at, or anything else I can help y'all with, whether it be, you know, simulations, whether we do, you know, just looking at candlesticks and understanding candlesticks, whatever the case, drop a comment. Let me know. Let me know if if this breakdown kind of helped you, you know, eliminate some of the noise. Let me know if it confused you even more, right? Just let me know what it is that you guys are looking for, what y'all want to see, what y'all want to understand better, and I will do my absolute best to provide that for you. But for now, that's my analysis. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, XRP, all the majors. And yeah, we'll come back, maybe we'll come back Sunday as the week is finishing up, kind of see what we're looking like on a weekly outlook, and you know, what we can expect for the week ahead next week, right? I think next week is going to be a big week, honestly, especially with how much you know, prices try to drive down, and the fact that we failed every attempt down. It makes me think that next week, if there's going to be, I already know there's a fuck ton, an absolute fucking shitload of people positioned short. And it would not surprise me if even we get a scam wick that just blows shorts out the water and liquidates them. Right? Just like what has happened with leverage long traders. Now we're at the bottoms, and we're at the bottom of this range, and now everybody's trying to pile in short, and you know, that's how you just get liquidated. So that's why we stay out until price gives us a clear direction, a clear intent moving forward. All right, man, I will let you guys go, and I will see you later on this weekend. Peace out.